And now we want to share the screen. Be patient.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. Or talk to ourselves. Okay, just to let everybody know, we hit one of those days where everybody, not everybody, but a number of people had other things to do today. Paul Strong is busy with other things, as well as Joan Natali. Nettie is still away, I believe. And heard from Rick Hubbard, and he said he wasn't going to be able to make it today. So we're a little light. We don't have a guest speaker, so we're just going to have some fun today. And we'll start off the fun by giving the Rotary motto, which is
Service above
self.
and not fun, but let's do it. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just we'll go ahead and just remember all the things that are going on in the world, and let's hope we get them straightened out. And a moment of silence. Okay, thanks, Bill. And I'll remind everybody that we are recording, and Bill Payne will get it posted up on YouTube after the meeting sometime. Paul won't be with us today or next week. He's got other things to take care of, some personal items. But he did send out a COVID update, and it's a little bit odd from normal weeks because it only includes 4 days of stats because yesterday was a holiday, Columbus Day. But even still, things appear to continue to improve. He reported in that 4-day window, there was 1 case of COVID diagnosed in Cape Charles. So things continue to improve, and we're working our way towards October 26th, when we hope to be able to meet for the first time in person this year at the coffee house. Paul already has arrangements with Roberta, or he's working with her right now. And we should be clear to go ahead. She actually told him we're fine to come in that day. So we're approved to come in for the meeting. If things keep getting better, hope to see you all in person instead of using this Zoom stuff. But just for the heck of it, let's kind of take a vote and let's say we're going to schedule it. Who on the screen right now would come in person to that October 26th meeting, knowing that if you wish, it's perfectly fine to wear a mask or not? Okay, Tom Godwin, is your hand raised or not? How about you, Bob Church?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So we had 2 people who did not raise their hand. Tom Godwin, I didn't see. So that would mean we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 people that did raise their hand. So I'd say we're good to go.
Yeah, and Chuck, I think we have to start a massive communication of that.
Absolutely agree.
This is only 1/4 of our membership here.
Right. All right, absolutely agree, Bill. And I'll start that myself. But if others want to chip in, and especially if you want to talk to your buddies or anybody else, let them know, hey, come on, be good to see you in person, October 26th at the coffee shop. All right, that's good news. With that, in conjunction with that, is World Polio Day is October 24th. And what we'd like to do on that day is to have the Purple Pinky operation. And I'm going to let Bill Stram talk a little more about that, how that works for anybody that's not quite sure what that is. Go ahead, Bill.
Thanks, Chuck. So what I'll be doing is I'll be there at a table, and I'll have a little vial of purple nail polish, and any amount that you would like to donate for Polio Plus, it will go to Polio Plus. But in the past, it's last few times where we've done it's just been about $5 a person, and we collect about $85, $90, sometimes one time $100, and it goes to Polio Plus. And you just have your purple pinky, and we get a picture of everybody, with the fingers out, and that's it. Real simple.
Yep. So bring cash on that day and make a contribution. I think typically, Bill Stram, it's typically $5 that we're looking for, right? But any amount over that is fine too.
That's fine. Yep. Anything over that is graciously welcomed.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Reminder, please send Reggie some suggestions for speakers. And you don't need to go in great detail. Just something you're interested in is fine. Hey, Reggie, it'd be interesting to hear from this organization. If you have a website that has that information, just copy and paste the URL, send it to Reggie, and he can take it from there and contact the people. So obviously we want to get things that you're interested in, but also something that may need a little Rotary help, but it doesn't have to. For example, we had the lady from NASA speak to us about the STEM things for up at Wallops Island and STEM training. They don't need any Rotary help, but it was just interesting, and it did have something to do with kids going through the STEM programs in school. So anything like that is welcome. All right, on projects, I'll start off with the Caboose project. We're meeting tomorrow. Bill Murphy, myself, and Larry Lamont will be there. Walter is part of that, but he's out of town right now. And I have not heard from Jim Rich. But again, anybody is welcome to give us a hand. Anybody in the club or your friends or whatever. Bill, I don't know if you want to contact your neighbor, John. I know you said he likes to do some volunteer things. But we're going to be meeting at 11:30 over there tomorrow morning. So we can use all the help we can get. It's going to be a nice day, mid-70s, partly cloudy. So ideal. All right, fire hydrants. Anything on that, Bob Church?
Nothing on the fire hydrants, but I have a question. The polio thing, where are we meeting for that?
That'll be at the coffee house.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that'll be our first in-person meeting this year. So
you said the 20,
perfect.
You said it's the 24th, right, for the polio day.
World Polio Day is the 24th, but we meet on the 26th, and we can take the collection and donate the money to Polio Plus. It doesn't have to be on the 24th.
I mean, but the 24th, when we get our pinky painted, we will be at the coffee house for that also?
No, it's going to be the 26th that we do that. World Polio Day, as far as Rotary International, is the 24th. but we're going to
Okay.
take up the collection on the 26th. And
Okay.
Rotary will take the money anytime. So,
Okay, thank you.
okay. And let's see, the Mary Ann Smith School, Bill? Okay.
Everything, I was on mute. Everything's going great. The Boys and Girls Club had a kind of kickoff open house last week, and everything is moving along.
Did you go to that by any chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that people can actually get in there and take care
Oh,
of
they
it.
always have gotten in there. The building has been used for, I'd say, the last 5 years, but
Okay,
it wasn't up to speed for having a bunch of kids. The fire and safety standards weren't, for kids.
okay.
They probably weren't good for adults either, but
Yeah, yeah,
but we survived.
yeah. Okay, as far as the basket raffle goes, I see we have Mary here, so Maddie is not going to be with us today. Mary, you have any updates on that?
I did not hear any. I don't know anything about that after the
Okay.
basket went to the library.
Okay. And YMCA support, we'll put that on hold because John Burtis isn't here. With the hidden history or invisible history, do we have, well, we got Bill Payne and Bill Murphy and Jackie and Reggie. Anybody want to update anything on that? Who's part of that committee?
Yes, well, I'll give a quick update. We obviously finished the interviewer training a couple of weeks ago and are in the process of scheduling interviews for those individuals who are attached to specific locations, specific buildings of businesses. Bill Payne has done an interview with Tom Godwin already. So we're just getting that process started, but that's where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah.
These interviews.
Just out of curiosity, have you been able to touch base with anybody that was here during those times, but has moved on and moved somewhere else and made a life at other places and maybe did real well for themselves ultimately in, Philadelphia or whatever? Have you been able to contact people outside the area?
As a group, we have. I've spoken with one person in particular who's up in the DC area, and I know Tom knows a couple of people who are in other parts of the country. I think one of them is in Philadelphia as well. So the answer is yes. There are people who are out of the area who have gone on to do quite well after starting in an environment was really difficult.
That's excellent. That's going to be interesting to hear. Okay, Bill Payne, you have anything on it?
No, except that Medi gave me another assignment. I thought I was done. I think I have the White Elephant is what's where the hotel was on Washington, Tom? Tom's gone. Anyway, I've got another assignment.
Oh,
Okay.
The White Elephant wasn't actually on Washington. It was near Washington, but was.
No, I've got the wrong name. It was a hotel or apartment complex. It's where the current condos are now.
Yes,
Okay.
I knew exactly what you're talking about, and I don't remember the name of it either. But that's where they tore it down and put the condos in, right?
Yeah, I should have it.
Okay.
And anyway, it's we're coming along. The project is alive and well.
Good. Okay, while we got you, Bill Payne, any news on the candidate forum?
Yes. I'm glad you brought it up. Because we need a couple more volunteers. Everything is in place. And I'll remind everyone that it's on October 26th. Wayne Bell, once again, is the moderator. And we've got a number of volunteers. Alan Burns has agreed to collect questions from the in-person audience. Joan Natali is going to work the Facebook Live feed. And Reggie signed up for the email questions, but he's got a conflict, so we could use another person maybe to spell Reggie, but I suspect those questions will be coming in early. So I'm not going to sweat that too much, but we could, and Al and Stan have agreed to be on the vetting or question selection team, but we could use probably one more person because you might want to break a tie. So it's always good to have an odd number of people. So looking for one more volunteer, but it's on October 26th at 6 o'clock. And Rotary once again is providing a service to the community. Do you have any questions regarding the forum?
And if you want to do that, contact Bill directly and let him know, either by email or his phone number.
Or smoke signals.
There you go.
Or you can stop by. Love to see you.
Yeah, yeah.
Wear your mask though. I've been doing a lot of political campaigning, knocking on doors, and some people won't talk with you unless you have your mask on. So I put my mask on.
I'll be glad when that stops because I have trouble hearing people when they have their masks on. Okay.
Don't hold your breath.
I won't. I heard that's dangerous.
See there. There you go, Chuck. It's only dangerous.
I'm no doctor,
longer
but I
than
heard.
2 minutes.
Okay.
What happened?
A reminder to everybody, give your buddies a call or any other club members. Just say hello and let them know you miss them, and looking forward to seeing you at our first in-person meeting on October 26th. Invite friends and neighbors too. We're starting to get some new neighbors moving in here. We got right here on Arnie's Loop, we got 6 new homes going up. So we're gonna start moseying around the neighborhood and talking with the people and see if we can recruit anybody for members. So do the same at other locations as well. Kind of a housing boom going on down here at the peninsula. And Bill, why don't we go ahead and do the next big thing?
Okay. Yes, of course.
Hey, wait, one quick question. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I can use the time.
Okay, just a quick question. So I've been trying to organize the roadside cleanup. And I just wanted to say right now, it looks like the weekend of November 6th and 7th, and I'm thinking November the 6th. Is there any downside to having it November the 6th?
Is that a Saturday?
Saturday, November the 6th.
No, that's actually probably ideal.
Okay, I'm still trying to reach out to the VDOT people to make sure I got all the supplies and everything in place. And I got about 6 or 7 emails from Paul Strong with very detailed instructions on how to do it.
No doubt.
Very meticulous. Anyway, so I just wanted to throw that out there. November 6th is potentially, not set in stone, but potentially a date for highway cleanup. More details to follow. Film at 11, as they say on TV.
All right. And I don't think we'll have too much trouble getting volunteers, Al.
All right.
Hey, Chuck,
Yeah.
did anybody else's stuff freeze up a couple of minutes ago? Because everybody stopped and I lost everything for about 5 minutes.
No, I was on. I saw Bill Payne on and Bill Stram. So, But I did see one or two other people kind of disappear and come back, like Tom Godwin.
But he does that all, and that's
Yeah.
Tom Godwin.
Yeah,
It was just you, Bill.
yeah, I think your house is haunted, Bill.
Yeah, well, no, I think this laptop that I've been trying to bring back to life for the last year and a half is refusing to respond. So I put new chips in it, and I'm going to give up on it because it's still, I just need to buy a new computer.
Have you tried paying your bill for internet service?
Wait a minute, I haven't tried that one, no.
Okay, Bill, Bill Payne, how we doing? All right, this is the time. Get those wallets out and throw out some happy dollars. Anybody want to be first for happy dollars?
I'll be first.
Okay,
And this is a repeat of last week, but it's still good. $5 because you guys make me so happy. I was really kind of gloomy this morning. I was going, oh God, I got all this to do, and oh, woe is me. Then Chuck starts cracking jokes, and I'm the happiest guy in the world. So $5 for that, and then another $5 because last Saturday was Jackie's birthday, and so we're gonna get Jackie coming and going, right? So we went up to the Charlotte Hotel, had a fabulous dinner, and we were just cheerful all the way up there and all the way back, which is real. Storm is shaking his head.
happy birthday.
You didn't spend the night up there? Come on, man. What are you, cheap?
Happy birthday, Jackie.
Thank you.
So $5 for that.
All right,
I'll chime in, Chuck.
all right.
I have 20
Woo!
happy dollars. My wife and I celebrated our anniversary this past week. And I won't tell you how many decades it's been, but it's been a lot. So we've been enjoying that. And we're going to probably get away for a couple of days as well this week. So did I say $20 for that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I was afraid I may have said $50 or something like that. But $20 is good.
One question.
I think you
remember-
said 50. I heard 50. Who else heard 50?
You guys are so cruel. What do you want to say, Chuck?
One question. You actually remembered the date, right? She didn't have to remind you, did she?
Well, I knew it was 1 of 2 days, right?
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
More than 2 decades. This sounds like 5 decades to me.
Yeah. $50, an anniversary. Sounds like 50 years to me.
I'll stick with 20.
Okay. Hi, Diane.
Hello there. How are you? How is
Good.
everyone?
We're in the happy dollars part of the meeting right now.
Thank you.
Anybody else with happy dollars? Bill Murphy.
Well, I've got 3 happy dollars, not really happy dollars, but there's a story behind it. Last Saturday night, I'm sitting there watching the Virginia Tech Notre Dame game, and it was a pretty good game. Got down to the last quarter, and Tech came back, and I'm sitting there looking at the clock, and they're ahead by 8 points with 3 minutes left, a little over 3 minutes. So I said, hey, I'm going to kick in some happy dollars for that next week and see if I can raspberry us a little bit. But in the last 3 minutes, somehow or the other, Virginia Tech managed to give up 11 points. I think all of us could have taken the field and done just as well. So they managed to give the game away to Notre Dame. But since I already had thought about giving the dollars, I'll just kick in 3 happy dollars.
All right. Well, since you're talking about football, I watched the Ravens and Colts game last night, and I'm a Baltimorean. So that kind of touched my soul. I was a big Colts fan. And then when they abandoned our city, I became a huge Ravens fan. And that was a dynamite game. The Ravens were way behind. They came back and tied it, went into overtime and beat the Colts. So
Hey,
it was
Chuck, point of order.
Yeah.
Point of order, you just can't throw excitement
How
in
much was
without
that
some
worth?
money.
How much was that worth,
$5.
Chuck?
$5. Bill, you raise a good point.
Yeah, you thought you got away with it.
You know, in some clubs, you can get fined for calling it a happy dollar without specifying an amount, but I'll just leave that there.
I said $5. Any more happy dollars? All right. Well, we don't have a guest speaker, so we're all going to speak a little bit if we like. So why don't we have story time? So tell us something funny, a funny story about yourself from anywhere from childhood to yesterday, or a funny story about somebody in your family. And anybody want to kick that off? If not, I'll give you one.
Okay.
So my next oldest brother, his name was Mike Huber. He's now deceased. But when Bill Payne always talks about me having a dry sense of humor. My brother Mike had 10 times the dry sense of humor that I had. And in 1967, we were all sitting around the family living room watching the Smothers Brothers show. And a group, rock and roll group from England came on named The Who. And me and my 5 brothers and my mom were sitting there, and my father in his favorite chair watching that Sunday night, the Smothers Brothers variety show. The Who came on, they started their stuff, and my father said, "Who are they?" And my brother Mike popped up and said, "Yes." And my father said, "What do you mean, yes? Who are they?" My brother said, "Yes." "Mike, I'm asking you who they are. Who is that on TV?" And my brother Mike kept saying, "Yes, The Who." And then my father said, "Mike, what is the name of that group?" And Mike said, "No, it's The Who. Not Mike, it's Who." And this went on for like 10 minutes, and my father was getting angrier and angrier. Finally, he got up and stormed out of the room, and we were all turning our heads, kind of laughing and not wanting our father to see it. My mother was laughing. And finally, he left the room. He was mad. And he came back about 5 minutes later with a big sheepish grin, my father with a big sheepish grin on his face. And we all just burst out laughing. And he finally realized he got snookered into the whole who's on first thing from the comedy group. I can't remember their name right now.
Abbott and
Abbott
Abbott and
Costello.
Costello, yes. He got Abbott and Costello, and he realized it, and even my father started laughing. But that was my brother Mike, straight face, deadpan, never let on that he was just having a good time with my father. But all my brother Mike is deceased now, but all my other surviving brothers, we still bring that up and crack up laughing every time we start remembering it. How about somebody else?
That was a good one, Chuck.
How about somebody else? A funny story about yourself or a neighbor, your family? Okay, well, I guess, go ahead, Reggie.
I don't know how funny this is. It's funny now that I look back on it, and I've had this discussion with my siblings, even my parents, after a certain amount of time. When I was a kid in Eastville, which is where I was born and grew up, my uncle and I, my favorite uncle, I always say, he's deceased now, unfortunately. We would go out down to the water, and And sometimes there would be like a little canoe just tied up down there that someone leaves there, someone would leave there. So this one day we decided we were going to take the boat out. The two of us, we went down, we untied the boat, we took the boat out it's a small pond area off the bay. And we were going to do some crabbing, right? You guys know crabbing is a big deal over here. So we were going to do some crabbing. We put the crabbing trap, a net, or whatever we call it these days, in the boat. We went out and we were sitting there and we dropped it in the water. We were waiting for the crabs to get in. And all of a sudden we realized that our feet were wet. And we looked down and the water was seeping into the boat. And it got higher and higher. And fortunately, we had a couple of pails in the boat. So we started bailing out the water so that we could get back to shore. So it wasn't funny at the moment, but it was certainly funny when I look back on it many times over the years.
Did you catch any crabs?
We left the crab net and everything out there.
That was funny.
Oh,
Yes.
All right, on the same theme, I have a story. Now, you have to imagine, we had a critical thinking course that we took as mechanics in New York. And you'd go out and you get a week's pay to go out and go to take this critical thinking course, which was a requirement in our union. So you could take 3 courses throughout your lifetime. I've taken, let's see, throughout my career, I've taken about 10 of them, but that's neither here nor there because nobody really wanted to go out. If you're in Manhattan and you go out to take this course, it's about 60 miles away from Manhattan. So you have to drive out. And of course, you spend the week out there and you get Wednesdays off. And so the food is great. The accommodations are excellent. I mean, it's a punt. It's great. It's easy. And you get paid for it, so which was right in my wheelhouse. But anyway, so here's Wednesday, our day off. And like Reggie, we have, let's say, 6 guys from Manhattan, and we're all dressed, because that was the thing to do in those days. We dressed well. And somebody decided, let's go fishing and let's take a boat out on Long Island. So we said, oh, great idea. I mean, that, and it was a little foolish idea, but alcohol tells you to do a lot of things. But anyway, we rented a boat, and the guy he must have been dying laughing. But anyway, he rented us a boat, and we got in this rowboat, and 6 of us, and there was 4 paddles, and we're rowing out, and we see boats coming the opposite way, and they're all waving, and we're saying, oh, wow, these guys in Long Island are pretty bad. They're not as bad as we thought they were, as prejudiced as we thought they were. But then everybody's waving and, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And another boat would come by and, hey, how you doing? Hi. Wow, yeah, this is great. And then we look up and it looks like a cloud on the water. And you can see through this cloud. And we kept going and going. And finally, one of us, I don't know who it was, realized that that's a fog coming in. And what the people were saying was, you're going the wrong way, come back, And we're all, yeah. Now, all of a sudden, somebody realized it. I don't know. I'd like to say it was me, but I don't know. Somebody realized it. And you imagine 6 guys with 4 paddles trying to paddle back to the dock.
In the
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny when we got back, but it was a little hectic at that time, but it was great. I mean, guys, you were well dressed, and it was a foolish idea, but we were, you know, we were foolish guys, and we had a good time.
And nobody spilled their drinks, right?
Oh no, never.
Yeah, that'd be alcohol abuse.
I hear the two boating stories, so I have to tell
All right.
tell on my father-in-law who is passed, but was quite a guy. For years, we took our kids camping every summer at Assateague State Park in Maryland. And I don't know if you're familiar with the inlet there between the south end of Ocean City and the north end of Assateague, but it's a pretty treacherous inlet, especially if your wind is going one way and the tide's going another way. But for years, my father-in-law wanted to go out there fishing. Now, the reason that wasn't a good idea is that he had a 16-foot Sears fiberglass boat with a 9.5, I think, horsepower motor on it. And that wasn't exactly built for being in that inlet. But 1 year after probably turning him down 6 or 7 years, again, with the help of probably too much Budweiser, I agreed to go because the tide was coming in. And I figured if, you know, worst case, we come back in the land, we don't go out into the ocean. So we went and we got out there and it was fairly rough. A lot of boats around, which was kind of secure, but it was interesting because in our boat, we would go down in a swell and we couldn't see anything. And then we come up and everybody could see us and kind of stare at us and shake their heads, and we go back down. So we went out one time and we drifted back in and we caught a fish, flounder, as I recall. Got that in the boat and we went out, second run, and we came back in and we came up out of the swell and we looked, and there sat Coast Guard boat, probably maybe 28 or 30 feet. And they came over to us, of course, and kind of gave us the once over and asked it was my father-in-law's boat, if he could see the registration, which of course he didn't have, because back in the day, you didn't have to register a boat that size unless you had a 10 horsepower engine on it. But this was the first year it needed to be registered. Well, he didn't have the registration. So he didn't have numbers on the boat. So the Coast Guard guy said, well, follow us back into West Ocean City. You really shouldn't be out here in this boat. And there was a little more dialogue went on. I won't get into all that. So anyway, here we are in this 16-foot bathtub following this boat back into West Ocean City. We get in and we pull the boat out. And the boat was so small, we carried it on the roof of his Plymouth. It was a carrier. I mean, that's how little this thing was. So he wrote out a citation for my father-in-law for not having the boat properly registered, et cetera, et cetera. And in the process of all this, he'd also asked him for his driver's license, which he didn't have.
Oh,
and when we were out on the water, he told the guy I was back at the car. We got back to the car. The story was, well, it's back at the campground. So he knew didn't have the driver's license. So we pull out of West Ocean City and we're heading back down the road to go to Assateague. We went about a quarter of a mile and we got pulled over by the local police, who already knew that he didn't have his driver's license, because the Coast Guard guys must have given him a head up and said, you got to pull these guys over. So we wound up not only getting a ticket for being out on the water and having the boat registered, he got a ticket for driving without his driver's license. And we were told by the Coast Guard that if we were ever seen out there in that boat again, we would be banned from the Atlantic Ocean forever. That's a true story, and I didn't embellish it quite as much as I probably should, but we survived. And
That's
actually that boat became decorated for Christmas every Christmas after that. It leaned up against the back porch of their house. They put Christmas lights on it.
That's a pretty big jurisdiction that cop had. He polices over the entire Atlantic Ocean.
No, he was just in that inlet that day.
Oh, wow. Anybody else have a funny story they want to tell?
I have one about my daughter.
Okay.
So 2 weeks ago, my daughter wanted to go to the Cape Charles Beach to swim. I did not want to go with her because I don't swim. but I wanted to go crabbing. She does not like crabbing. So in the end, we made a deal. She would go swimming. I would go crabbing. So we went together. And then after 1 hour, and she said she want to go home, and she saw I caught some crabs. And she said, Mom, do you know how you caught those crabs? I said, well, I put the crab net in the water and they came to the crabbing net. And that's how I caught them. She said, no, Mom, your crabbiness attracted them. And then so anyway, so she thinks you need to be crabby enough to attract those crabs. So I said, wow, that's great to know. So in the future, when you start whining and screaming, guess what I'm gonna make you go do? You're gonna go crabbing.
She's gonna be the bait.
Oh, cute.
Anybody else have some funny stories? Go ahead, Bill Murphy.
Yeah, I just have a quick one. This is something that anybody that's lived here on the shore for any amount of time, I'm sure can relate to. But we'd only been here just several weeks. I hadn't even met Bill Payne yet. And so my wife sent me up to Food Line to pick up 2 or 3 things. And so I said, all right, I'll be back in a little bit. So I go up to Food Line, and it was in like August, so it was crowded like it normally is. And I'm standing in line. I had about 2 or 3 items, and there's several ladies in front of me. And I'm standing there thinking to myself, why is that cashier going so slow? She's talking like to everybody, like it's her cousin, somebody, or one of them was her friends, or how's your niece, and just going on and on. And I'm used to living, you know, like in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area where everybody's in a hurry or worse, and you're trying to get out. So I'm standing there and I'm trying to do my very dead level best not to look aggravated, but at that time I hadn't learned how to calm down yet. So I'm shuffling from foot to foot, making little comments underneath my breath, you know, and all of a sudden I feel this tap on my shoulder, and I turn around and I said, what? You know, just sort of snapped at the guy. It was an old guy. He's probably in his 80s then, and white hair, you know, typical Eastern Shore looking guy, waterman. And he says, you haven't been here long, have you? I said, no, why? You know, I mean, I just didn't want to hear it. He says, well, he says, I know you haven't. I can tell. I said, well, yeah, you're right. I just moved here a couple of weeks ago. He said, well, I got some good advice for you, son. And he called me son, right? Imagine that. He said, I've got some good advice for you, son. He says, this is the Eastern Shore. He said, things here happen a little bit different than they do other places. It's a different way of looking at time. I said, okay. He said, you're going to have to learn how to just kick back and let things take their own flow. He said, if you do, you'll be real happy here. But if you're not, you made a big mistake. So I kind of taken that to heart over the last almost 10 years now. And I often think about that guy when I'm Food Line and he gets like that again. But he gave me some good advice. I mean, it sort of set the stage for the way I've thought about the Eastern Shore ever since then. In particular, when you want to try to get somebody to come give you an estimate on putting up gutters or come back and finish the job they've already started, or, you know, what have you. It is a different way of looking at things. And so anyway, that's my short story.
Very definitely. Clocks run a lot slower down here.
Yeah.
Anybody else with a story? I'll give you one more quick one. My skydiving years, beside the hangar was a little trailer park. I had a trailer there to stay in on the weekends. And there were a couple barbecue pits. And of course, after hours, after skydiving all day, the sun went down, we'd start imbibing with mass quantities of alcohol in a lot of cases. And one night, me and a couple other jumpers were up on the side of the hangar, and one of the other jumpers kept coming out of his trailer. He had a chicken on one of the barbecue pits. So he's cooking that. He'd come out and swab on some butter or whatever he was putting on there. And then he'd go back in the trailer. Then he'd come back out, swab it some more, go back in the trailer. Well, beside the hangar there, besides us, was a big old dead crow laying beside the hangar. So I got the idea when he went in the trailer one time, I picked up that dead crow, went down there and grabbed his chicken and laid the dead crow on the barbecue pit. And me and my two buddies up by the hangar enjoyed a nice cooked chicken dinner. And when the other jumper came out of his trailer, he looked down at the barbecue and saw this smoldering feathers dead crow on the barbecue pit, and he hurried up, ran back in the trailer and got a flashlight.
on your screen.
Came out with his flashlight because I'm sure he
Something
couldn't
happened.
believe what he was seeing. And he shined the flashlight on there. We were roaring, laughing up the hangar. And then he knew who the culprits were. We had a great chicken. We left him to eat crow.
Oh, that's a
You
good
got
one.
one? Oh,
Jackie, you
I
have one?
can't. I can't get off mute. I'm having trouble.
And we hear
You're
you.
not
Bill.
on mute. Yeah,
We hear you.
You're not on mute, Bill.
Okay.
What about me?
No, you have to come over and talk. They can't hear you from over there.
Hey!
Jackie, hurry up. Hurry up. You have to come over here. They won't be able to see you anyway because I'm blacked out for some reason.
You put a picture. You got
I did not. It happened.
It doesn't happen by itself.
It did. It did.
User error.
All right, these little household squabbles.
Okay, tell your story.
Okay. Oh, let me see. What was I getting ready to say? Oh, this is when I was in college, and
That's a good one.
I've always been a prankster, and I was on the first floor. So when you come to the dorm, there's the door, and right next to the door is the window to my room. And one day I decided to put a sign in the window. I put up a sign that said, "Men wanted, no experience necessary." And the dean walked by, the dean of women walked by one day, and she saw that sign and she was not very happy to see it. So she came into the dorm and she spoke to the house mother and told the house mother that something needed to be done about that kind of behavior. So the house mother was an older lady, you know, she's just trying to make a few bucks, you know, as she's aging. And she was so nice, and she didn't want to tell me to do anything. So she said, you know, well, the dean didn't like what you did, and she told me to give you some chores. And she told me every weekend, because we didn't have the help coming in, the cleaners on the weekend to clean the bathrooms and put out toilet tissue. She told me my job for a month was to make sure there was toilet tissue in every bathroom in the dorm, and to make sure the garbage can was emptied, and to keep the front porch swept, as long as, and also in the basement, there was a TV room. I was supposed to keep that organized. So I did it once, and I noticed that she never checked it. So I never did it again.
Oh, God.
And then there's one other.
Oh,
Like I said, I was a prankster. And every weekend there was a movie at Morehouse College, which was an all-male college across the street from my college, which was all women. And for some reason, I don't know why, I did not have a date. So I was in the dorm, and all my friends had gone to the movie. So I decided to short sheet their beds. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, so I short sheeted about 6 beds, and they came in and they didn't know what they had never been short sheeted before. They got ready, you know, for bed, take their shower, put the little rollers in their hair and pajamas on. They go get in the bed, and they can't get the feet down to the bottom of the bed. So they surmised that I was the culprit. And they came to my room, and they took my mattress and my box spring and put it downstairs in the basement. So I had to sleep downstairs and nobody would help me bring it back up.
So the tables were turned.
Yes,
Yes.
they were.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, when I learned short sheeting, I guess your freshman year, everybody learns that. When I went home for Christmas holidays, I short sheeted all the beds.
Yeah, it was such a novelty thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Why are you having an echo?
Okay, do we have any other funny stories? All right. Well, does anybody have anything for the good of Rotary? Any news items or little tidbits of information you want to pass on?
No, but Chuck, I'd like to congratulate you on being nimble on your feet, which is a real sign of leadership, and I want to thank you for it.
Well, thank you, Bill.
Oh, Bill was supposed to do his bio today.
Now, this is more fun than my bio.
Yeah,
I'll do it the next time, Reggie. And first of all, the reason we had the funny stories, and that was great, but we have failed Reggie as a group. So I'd like everybody to set aside 15 minutes on their calendar and just think about speakers so that we can have a good program and help Reggie out.
Well said, Bill. Yeah, just kick around ideas in your head. Like I was saying earlier, if you have interest in little things here and there, just jot them down on paper or in a quick email to Reggie, and he'll take it from there. We can't expect one person to come up with 50 some ideas for speakers, so we need to help them out. So jot them down in an email, send them off to Reggie, and he'll take it from there. All right. Bill, why don't we go ahead and we'll close out the meeting a little bit early today, but with the Rotary four-way test.
Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Well, you probably won't because my system is.
You've done something, not your system. You've done something.
So this will be a real test.
All right. The four-way test. Number 1.
Is it the truth?
Number 2.
Is it fair to all concerned?
3.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And the one we all remember, and that Stan is famous for. Stan, what's the 5th one?
Will we have fun?
There you go. And we will.
All right.
We have an
thank you,
echo in
everybody.
there.
Mary, I'll be talking with you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Okay. You're gonna call me, right?
Yeah, we will call you.
Okay,
Me
looking forward to it.
All right.
Bye,
Talk to you
everyone.
tomorrow. Bye.
It always means logging off, getting back on again.
You put your picture there somehow. You went to participant.
I can't even close it.
Really? Let me leave.
I'm just gonna have to close Zoom.
I can't do anything with it.
Is Stanley still on it?
Everybody's still on.
I close.
Okay, I'm ending. This would